Saturday, September 19th. It's about 8:45 in the morning. Right now it's 35 degrees out. When I got up at 4:30, it was 30 degrees. And we officially got frost overnight, which we were expecting. No surprises. And it's really not that early. Peppers look like they survived just fine. Well, for the most part. A couple of them have some wilted leaves. No, I think around September 21st is the first anticipated frost date. So we're really not anything unusual here. But of course, we got to look at the garden. The sun's hitting things, the frost is melting off, but there you go. The frost is on the pumpkin, as my mother likes to say. Now, it looks like, well, over there, that's frost, but there's also powdery mildew or whatever, which is a typical thing to get on pumpkin leaves, squash leaves. Some of these leaves look sad, but obviously they are not all dead, which is perfect. I was doing a little bit of reading when I, heard we were going to get a frost. Even the tomatoes are not bad. So it looks like there was enough heat in this area, and that's could also be a good benefit of doing this in the goat area, with all that packed straw and hay that's on the ground. That probably helped, insulate and hold in a lot of the heat from the plants and the soil underneath. So, plus it's kind of a protected area. Some structures just kind of help keep the heat in overnight. Yes, I was reading about specifically about pumpkins and frosts, and the deal is that as long as you have leaves left, wow, that pumpkin is way down here. This is the one that was growing on the fence, and it pulled the vines down with it, so now it's in there. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get this guy out of here. This was a double fence divider that we had, because we had some kind of shrub growing there that we found out afterwards was toxic to goats. So we had goats so fast, and we weren't sure if it was going to grow back when we cut it down, because we did cut it down a couple of times and sprouts kept coming back. So just to protect the goats, we just basically walled it off with a fence so they couldn't get near it. But anyway, that's where the pumpkin is growing, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get in there. I keep getting distracted here. As long as the vines still have leaves on them that are alive, the pumpkins will be fine. That's the short of it. Some leaves dying off is okay, as long as the vines themselves are still getting energy. It still keeps growing. The pumpkins still get their energy, and they will continue to ripen, because otherwise, if you take pumpkins off too early, they won't ripen. They won't turn orange on their own. So yeah, the stuff further out in the yard, these, the tender young leaves, these might be lost, but that's all right. As long as anywhere on the vine is getting energy and it's not killed off between the pumpkin and what's still alive, it'll be fine. Now, we're supposed to get another frost tonight, and I'm not sure if another one into Monday morning or not. Yesterday I came out and I cut a lot of leaves back on the grape, just so we could get some sunshine in there during the day. Here's the pile of cut vines. So that pumpkin in there can actually get some sunlight, because really the sun is what helps ripen up the pumpkins. They, need to at least be getting some sun in on them. And this area back here, these guys look like they took no frost damage at all. You know, probably again because they just, you know, a little more insulated under the tree, and the woods behind. You know, probably all of that just adds a little bit. So very good news on that point. You know, there's definitely frost on the lawn. There's an Icelandic sheepdog on the lawn. But cabbages are pretty hardy. They're not going to be bothered by the frost. That's all we have growing over here anyway. Looks like the sunflowers, I mean, they're doing their thing anyway, but cauliflower is another cold hardy. Now look at this, is regular cauliflower here. You see how nice and soft? Again, it's not a very big head. You know, maybe about along across my thumb. But this, Dee said it was from a mixed packet. So that's maybe another variety of cauliflower. That's why we had some of the purple. I was so excited about this purple, right? And look, something came in and nibbled at it, including the cauliflower itself. And this, Dee thinks this is actually Brussels sprouts. Now, generally, they tend to grow more on a tall stalk. I thought that that was a cabbage that had gotten mangled by a critter early on. And maybe it's kind of growing a little distorted. But anyway. So over here by the arbor, this sunflower came in nice. A separate smaller plant down below, but that one up top is getting multiple heads on it. And you see this, the ones on this side are already, you know, gone. You got some birds nibbling on there already. But that side there is only really just getting started. Look at, there's actually some frozen water in the bird feeder. Winter is not far off at this point. But these beautiful guys here. Again, these ones that are more pale. It's just the variety. I never get tired of looking at these guys. And we didn't expect this one up here to have such a darker amount. We've noticed that on the stems, if there's just a plain stem like that, you know, chances are it's going to be more of a yellow flower. But if there's some darkening on the stem as it's growing, like that, then that's going to be one that's going to have some color. I don't know if it's a rule of thumb. It's just something that we kind of noticed. But that's right, reach toward the sun. Look at you guys. Anywhere the sun hits them, they just perk right up. So these guys here still have yet to open, but we can tell that one's going to be darker. This one here is going to be dark, darkish. But look at how gorgeous it is with the sun right behind those petals. Over here we have another darker one. Look at that glow. And again, by the way, see the darker one, and look at the darker stem. And this one up here has darker and lighter, all on the same top. Oh, look at this one. Very cool. See, the leaves are starting to darken on the beach plum. Still not seeing any little plums in there. I was hoping to be able to show those off. They're kind of neat. And here's the final patch. As you can see, a lot of these are starting to lean over now. But there's still a lot growing in. This dark one here that I highlighted on the last video. These guys up here. And there's some little ones here that still have to open, but looking around quick, it looks like, in this patch anyway, all the ones that had buds, all those buds pretty much opened at this point. So there was really not going to be anything new opening up over here, but we did get a big one. Look at the center of that. So this one here was not only tall, but it also is a large head, so that's definitely the biggest one out of all the sunflowers in the yard, the biggest center. And it looks like a nice healthy stalk, so that should produce lots and lots of seeds for lucky birds. You look up here. Hi. So that is the sunflowers. So a lot of the plants around the yard are pretty, cold hardy. Some of the hosta will start to go now as the frosts get worse. Of course, all the natural weedy type stuff, that stuff is used to the frost, so that'll last for a while. But as far as our stuff, here's the hydrangea, and look at the blush this is getting on it. It really is such a gorgeous color it picks up. And I don't remember what these guys are down here. I forget the name. But they seem to really be enjoying this weather. These are nice and firm plants, so the frost did not affect them. Again, back here, just the bottoms of the hosta. These I think were the daylilies. Those will definitely start wilting after the frost. Black-eyed Susans, at least the petals look unhappy, but they have a limited time span anyway. But all the impatience is doing good. So all in all, for a first frost, not bad. Not bad at all. Hey, Felly, the moles are getting around through here. Come here. Come here. What's in here? How about over here? Take that one. Yeah, they're all through here. Instead of barking at the donkeys, why don't you go hunt the moles? See, impatiens are doing just fine. We got this fountain running again. We kind of had to because we were getting yelled at by the chickadees. I'm going to try to get some video put together. I have short clips, but the chickadees have been loving this fountain this year. It started off with some other smaller birds, and the chickadees have been coming every day, multiple times, sitting on the top, actually going in the water, bopping around. Absolutely loving it. Hi! There's Noelle. You guys are still out this time. I guess I need to make videos earlier in the morning. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, gorgeous. Hey, Bangor. You see all this hay left on the ground here? Straw, I guess I should call it. They're unhappy. Apparently, there's too much stem that they don't like in the hay that we just bought from this season, the first cut. So they're picking through it, but being very, very picky. Which makes me even more unhappy about them going over behind the fence because obviously they have plenty of food. But despite my fixing the fence earlier in the week, they're still going over. I did look up some tricks on how to improve your electric fence through a drought. And pretty much the best function is to try to get some water to the ground rods. That's probably the prettiest right now that we have for leaves around the yard. The only other one that we have is a maple that's getting some partial on it. Driving around town yesterday when I went to the post office, there's definitely a lot of leaves that are turning already. I guess people kind of plan on Columbus Day weekend for New Hampshire, but you know, again, depending on the weather, it is not expected to be a good leaf season. It's just been too dry. I mean, it's still going to look great, it always does, but it's not going to be stunning or brilliant. That's pretty much it, but there's definitely some turning here and there, here and about. So I'll end it here on that note.